For years, millions of stolen identities seem to appear online almost by magic. Names, emails, phone numbers, passwords, all dumped into the same dark marketplace ecosystem. Then, investigators say that trail led somewhere very real. Los Angeles. Not to a myth, not to a faceless legend, but allegedly to Buster Hernandez, the man federal prosecutors tied in 2024 to the online persona many people knew as ShinyHunters. And what makes this case matter is bigger than one arrest, because this is not just a takedown story. It is a story about infrastructure, about how stolen data stopped being a one-time trophy and became a repeatable business model.
If you like understanding how cybercrime really works behind the headlines, subscribe. Every week, I break down a real case from the documents, the indictments, and the forensic trail. BreachForums was one of the places where that economy lived. A forum where breached databases, access, and reputation were all traded together. In June 2023, the FBI seized the site. Then it came back. Then in 2024, US authorities announced another major action, including the arrest of Hernandez and the seizure of BreachForums infrastructure. This is where the story gets more interesting. The real question is not just who ran the forum. It is this: what kind of machine had the forum become? Who made money? Who supplied the stolen identities? And how does one alleged actor end up connected to both the leaks and the place that monetized them? The victim here was never just one company. It was anyone whose identity became a commodity. Customers, students, employees, patients, people who never logged into a hacker forum in their lives, but still ended up priced, packaged, and sold. To understand why the 2024 arrest mattered, you have to go backward, not to the first forum post, to the logic underneath it. Breach culture online used to revolve around spectacle, a screenshot, a boast, a sample dump to prove the theft was real. But over time, the spectacle matured into supply chain thinking. Stolen data was no longer just exposed. It was sorted, validated, reposted, sold, leveraged for reputation, and folded into the next intrusion. And what strikes me in this case is how modern cybercrime starts looking less like chaos and more like retail. Inventory, trust signals, user handles acting like brands, repeat customers. That is the part many headlines miss. According to the criminal complaint unsealed in 2024, investigators linked Hernandez to online accounts associated with ShinyHunters through a mix of technical and operational clues. Public reporting on the case points to the FBI and DOJ alleging that the same individual had ties not only to the leak persona, but also to the administration and operation of BreachForums after earlier law enforcement disruptions. No movie-style genius monologue, no dramatic keyboard duel, just patient attribution. Username history, infrastructure records, access patterns, account recovery traces. The quiet stuff, the kind of detail that turns a handle into a suspect. When I read through the public case material and the reporting around it, one thing kept bothering me. How many people still think data leaks are random events? They are not. In cases like this, leaks become fuel. Once a forum can reliably attract breached records, it becomes more than a message board. It becomes a marketplace with gravity. And gravity changes behavior. People show up because buyers are there. Buyers show up because sellers are there. Reputation forms, moderation matters, escrow matters, visibility matters. A forum can become the exchange floor for digital identity theft. That is the thesis of this case. The alleged importance of Hernandez was not just volume or notoriety, it was position inside an economy. So let me ask you this. When a site like BreachForums keeps coming back, what is more dangerous? The alleged operator behind it, or the demand that keeps turning stolen identities into a business? Drop your take in the comments.
Now, if you zoom in on the timeline, the pattern gets sharper. BreachForums rose after the fall of RaidForums, another major cybercrime forum seized in 2022. That mattered because takedowns do not erase demand. They create vacancies. And vacancies online get filled fast. BreachForums became one of those replacements. Researchers, journalists, and law enforcement all watched it because major data sets kept surfacing there. Some were sold, some were leaked for clout, some were used to pressure victims. Same raw material, different business models. Tense. Federal authorities allege Hernandez was involved in running or helping operate the forum after one of its earlier public collapses. If that allegation holds, the significance is obvious. This was not just someone accused of stealing data in isolated incidents. This was someone allegedly tied to the venue where stolen data was organized, distributed, and monetized at scale. That distinction matters. A burglar and a fence are different roles. One breaks in, one turns stolen property into a market. When those functions overlap, the damage multiplies. And yes, that analogy is deliberate, because cybercrime often sounds abstract until you translate it into something physical. Imagine a warehouse where every box contains pieces of someone's life. A bank login here, a social security number there, a school account, a medical record. Then imagine someone running both the break-ins and the warehouse floor. That is the scale of the concern. But there is a darker twist in this story. Even when law enforcement seizes a forum, the underlying economy does not vanish with the homepage. It fragments. Mirrors appear. Telegram channels fill the gap. Rival communities recruit the displaced users. The platform falls, the market adapts. So the 2024 arrest mattered for a reason a lot of people missed. It was a strike against continuity, against the people allegedly connecting breach fame, forum operations, and the trust mechanics that keep this trade alive after every takedown. That is also why I think this case has a bigger lesson than the usual victory lap headline. Cybercrime resilience does not live only in malware. It lives in community architecture, in identity, in reputation systems, in the fact that users know where to go next when one site disappears. And that should worry companies more than it does. Because if executives think the problem ends when one domain is seized, they are studying the wallpaper while the building is still on fire. The human cost is harder to package into a press release. A breached identity can mean fraud alerts, reset passwords, phishing waves, account takeovers, anxiety that lasts for years. Most victims never know which forum thread their data appeared in. They only know the aftershocks. How many of those people even remember the original company that lost their data? How many had any real choice in the first place? The 2024 DOJ announcement and FBI action did something important.
They reminded everyone that online personas are not immune to slow, methodical attribution. The complaint and related reporting described how investigators allegedly followed digital breadcrumbs back to a person, not just a nickname. That matters in a world where notoriety often depends on looking untouchable. It also matters because forums like this thrive on credibility. If users believe administrators can disappear forever behind handles, trust in the criminal marketplace grows. If that illusion cracks, the market absorbs damage even beyond the servers that were seized.
If this detail hit you as hard as it hit me when I saw how much of this case was really about infrastructure and trust, leave a like. Cases like this deserve to be understood, not just reacted to. There is an irony here. These communities are built around exposing other people's secrets, and yet their own survival depends on secrecy, consistency, and trust. The moment investigators can map those hidden relationships, the whole mythology starts to look smaller, more human, more fragile. Still dangerous, but fragile. By the time Hernandez was arrested in 2024, the message from law enforcement was clear. They were not only interested in flashy breach claims, they were targeting the connective tissue. The people allegedly helping make stolen data searchable, tradable, and persistent. And in my view, that is the real legacy of this case. Not the idea that one arrest ends the leak economy. It will not. The real legacy is that investigators treated the forum itself as part of the crime scene, not just the gossip around it. That is a smarter frame. Because the modern breach economy is not built by a single intrusion. It is built by repeatable systems that turn private information into inventory. So, when you hear that a forum was seized, ask a different question. Not just who got arrested. Ask who kept the market liquid, who connected attention to money, who made stolen identities feel ordinary. That is what made this case important. A notorious leak persona allegedly traced to a real suspect, a marketplace allegedly tied to the same orbit, and a reminder that in cybercrime, the loudest event is often just the surface. The real power sits underneath, where stolen data keeps moving. If true crime tech is your thing, subscribe and join me here. I cover the cases through indictments, complaints, and the technical reality behind the headlines. Next time, I want to show you another case where the breach was only the beginning.